really waiting to give you that solution or waiting for your solution. So this morning then, we are joined by George Mburu, who's the CEO, Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, right here then to have a conversation around the affordable housing pillar. How are you doing, George?
I'm very fine.
Happy to have you around, man. It's been a minute. Karibu sana.
Sure.
Let's begin like this. I mean, when we're talking about affordable housing, and I want to start from where the government has been up to where we are right now. Now, you can see throughout majority of the initiatives, price points have been an issue.
Sure.
Or they've been more clear now than more than they've been before.
Yeah.
Is it true to say that indeed, if you're going to talk about affordable housing and you're pushing it into the Kenyan economy, then if you have a 1-bedroom, you've got to peg it around 1 million. A 2-bedroom, 2 million. All the way up to a 4-bedroom where you can sell it at 4 million shillings. Is that what is going to define what affordable housing is in the country?
Yeah, thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be back here.
Yes.
And thank you for the question. And for sure, the cost of living, as now we are talking, is at an all high.
That's it.
And that is a discussion that is happening to everybody because everybody is directly affected.
Yes.
And this is all the homesteads. It's not something that is unique to any individual. It's happening to all the homesteads, and for sure this is not happening not only here in the country.
Yes.
For myself, I also have customers who are residing out of the country, in the diaspora. We have people in the US, we have people in the UK, in Australia. All over, people are crying. And for sure, the effect of the currently ongoing wars. Recently, we were talking about the Russia and the Ukraine war, which actually has been overshadowed now by the war that is happening in Israel and Israel and also Palestine. And all these things, for sure, they are affecting the global economy. This is not something that is only unique to we as a country as a Kenyans. Yes. It's happening across the globe, and all the families are feeling the heat. And you find that the only difference is that we are a third world country, which means our government or our GDP is not as huge as that of maybe countries like the US and such, who are able to caution their citizens against these impacts that are happening to families or to the society in large. And you find that we as a country, we have also a government which has to come up with measures to try and mitigate some of these effects. And we are happy because some of the measures that the government took, like insisting that people should go back to the farming and start planting food, for sure we are happy now. We have heard of harvests that are adequate to actually take us for a long time, because at least we got the rains and we also got the fertilizer. So at least we have one of the basic needs, which is food. You find that at the moment, as much as we are crying because of the cost of paying rent, the cost of electricity, medical bills, all this, at least we have one thing that we can say we are happy that we have seen the government, the current government, at least try and focus not only on the consumption bit, but also on production. And hearing that there is maize in the Rift Valley, which is a bread basket of our country, it's a positive thing. So I don't think, as much as we are going through these tough economic times, it's all lost. At least there's also, we have to be optimistic. As Kenyans, we are known to be resilient people. We are people who are very idealistic, people who are, actually Kenya is considered to have one of the most well-learned and educated society. That's why we are able to even send our best minds in other countries. We have Kenyans all over the globe, and this is because the human capital, this is something we have been building over time, and now this is what we are going to use and get now people that are residing out of the country remitting those money back. And for sure, they can't be sending money for eating, because also they're also facing the same challenge. So they can only send money to invest back at home.
Does it?
And with Corona, people now have realized that east or west, home is the best. So we find that most of these Kenyans that are residing in the diaspora, this is the best time for them to start remitting those dollars. What we need to put in place as a country, our country has for sure been known to be corrupt, so to say. And this is because people's monies are not sometimes used prudently.
Yes.
And this starts from the government itself, all the way to companies, all the way to down the village. You find that somebody sending money to their own relatives, maybe to get a house. That money is squandered. And that is what has actually led us also as a country not to be in a position to attract those foreign remittances. But this is now the time to put our house in order. We have proper policies, proper mechanism to attract those foreign currencies, as we also try to export some of our best minds. Yes. Once they go out there, they again invest back at home. Because another challenge we are facing is the Kenyan shillings has really weakened, especially against the US dollar. So if we do not have more dollars coming to the country, and we are still doing imports, for sure it can only get to us. But because as Kenyans, God has given us that ability to be able to understand what is happening around us, for sure it's just a matter of time and we'll be out of it.
Yes. Yeah. When you look at the market now, in as regards affordable housing, I mean, the main agenda, George, was to move majority of Kenyans from the rental market into the property ownership market. What we're saying, well, majority of them would be homeowners.
Sure.
Do you think since we started talking about this agenda all the way from 2013 up to where we are right now, I mean, if you look at it, that's 10 years down the line. Do you think that we are achieving that particular objective?
Sure.
Because again, if you look at the stats again, you will see that, well, 99% of the market is essentially in the renting docket, where you only have 1% in homeownership and a mortgage market, essentially. What is not working in this market before you realize the shift?
Yes. Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. You'll find that in our Kenyan economy, most of the businesses and most of the work that we do is mostly informal. You find that the people that are in formal employment, they are just a handful of people. A majority of people are into self-employment, sole proprietorship, partnerships, small and medium-sized companies. And for sure, this is a focus that we need to put on the group of people, because we find that those people, they are the majority, but nobody is paying attention to them, at least in the past. But since we are having a different kind of engagement, and we are saying we need more hands on board for us to bake a bigger cake. And once we bake a bigger cake and we have everybody on board, we are going to at least to be able to share the cake, and everybody is going to have their food. But at the moment, as we speak, especially people who are in the formal employment, those people who have their pay slips, and those people are the people who have majorly been driving the economy. You find that at this time, they are barely surviving themselves. And this is because you look at an ordinary payroll of any employed person, whether in the civil service or in the private sector, you find that their payroll is so much thinned, such that they can barely survive. Actually, people are barely surviving end month to end month. You find that there is a big problem, and this is because, for sure, we have been over-relying on the wrong side. These people, for sure, they are bearing the whole burden of the whole economy. So it is high time that we start now discussing candidly, and this is because you find that these people that are employed, you'll find them in towns, isn't it? And you being an example, you know that at the end of the day you have to pay rent, isn't it?
Does it?
And the landlord does not care whether you have been paid or you have not been paid. For him, he needs his money. You find that the people who are always laughing all the way to the bank, year in, year out, are the landlords. But the majority of people who are the tenants, most of them with their meager income, they still have to pay rent. They still have to make sure their children go to school. Their children go to school. They have to make sure that they place food on the table. So you find that those people have really been burdened, and we are saying we want to start from the known to the unknown. We start by helping those who have at least a few coins, which they can place maybe somewhere and get that housing. Then the moment they're able to themselves stop paying rent, these people are able to contribute even in a bigger way in the building of the country's economy. So affordable housing is very key and very crucial. And in the basic needs of any human being is food, shelter, clothing. So you find that as we speak, right now we are saying at least we have gotten the rains. We can say food, God somehow is providing for us food. Then when it comes to rent, there is nobody who can save us. It's us now to take the initiative and hold hands. And for sure, we as Mrs. Africa Homes Limited, we have been talking to people, and especially our customers, and we have been telling them that this is the right time to get that house affordably, because things will never go any cheaper. Life can only become difficult. So we want to encourage our customers and everybody who is in a position. And I'm happy because we as Mrs. Africa Homes Limited, we have also been advocating for banks to start giving the KMRC rate mortgages.
In terms of the mortgages, isn't it?
And these mortgages, this was something that was passed actually in the former regime, the Jubilee administration.
Yes.
And there was the KMRC, which came to effect. And KMRC is a loan. It's like a kind of a consortium loan that has been given to the banks to be able to lend to the common mwananchi. Because even the international markets have realized that if we continue with this trend, whereby the rate of mortgage uptake in our country is very low, we are not only destroying a society, but also we are destroying our own economies. So with that KMRC rate, that is below 10% interest rate, 9.5, I can at the moment actually say I have interacted with a number of banks. And they are now willing to lend to people who want affordable houses. That is anything below 8 million. And that is a sphere that we as Mrs. Africa Homes Limited, we have been since 2019. We are actually the best in the country. So we are in a best position even to advise even the government as it is rolling out. And what I can advise the government is let us not leave out the private sector, because private sector drives the biggest percentage of the GDP at the end of the day. So if the private developers are able to be assisted by the government, for sure we'll be actually resolving the second problem of shelter. Now we look at clothing. And also the clothing, there's a solution. We have abandoned the textile industry, so there's a solution to this.
In this particular perspective, and it's a good thing that you mentioned it, because I was coming to it. I was looking at KMRC, which was essentially touted to be a magic bullet in terms of solving the mortgages issue in the country, where you only have just 1% of the market that is essentially into the mortgage market in the country. Do you think that their efficacy has been felt so far? Like, how are we supposed to judge KMRC, George, in this conversation for affordable housing? Are we just going to look at the numbers and still say, well, years after their introduction in the market, we're still talking about 99% of the market being rented? So KMRC's effect has not yet been felt. Is that enough judgment for us?
Actually, I can say from a point of information, that for sure, as we speak, KMRC is actually trying to push the banks to give out those money. Initially, the KMRC, because this is like a an agreement between 3 parties. This is there's the lending banks, which are in the international banks. There's now the local banks, which should ideally be the agent to ensure that they distribute that money to the end user. And now there's the KMRC, which is now mandated, or it's a state corporation that is mandated to ensure that that objective is met. So you find that there has been that issue whereby the local banks have not been giving out the money to the intended end user.
Yes.
And you find that most of our banks, they are privately owned. They are just private entities. So you find that, yes, the government may have that will to distribute this money to people who are in a position or who deserve it or who go and get it. But the person that is in the middle is a business person. This business person, they are more interested with making profit than having that goal of making more people own homes. So we find there is a conflict of interest. And I have given you money. Money is not labeled, money is money. And you're in a position to lend this money that you can lend at 9.5 to another person at 17%. As a businessman, of which I am a businessman, you are also a businessman.
Yes.
Most likely, with following your own business objectives, you are going to lend that the same money at a higher interest rate. So you find that the effect that is intended is not felt.
Does it?
But I'm happy because even when you listen to the mainstream medias, there are even advertisements. People are now starting to be enlightened. There's this kind of money. Yes, Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, we have been talking about it since time immemorial. But this information has not been laid out to the public, to the public, and these are the intended end users. So, but now there's that people now are talking, and for sure I have interacted with a number of banks, and very soon looking forward to coming back and saying now with statistics, because numbers never lie. I have talked to a number of bank officials, and they are saying the money is there. They are ready to distribute it to the end user. So it is for the end user now to go and get that money. And now that is where we come in as Mizizi Africa Homes Limited to advise our customers, because for us we have those affordable houses already as we speak, and we continue with this agenda of affordable housing because it's very pertinent and it's also very dear to us. So, yeah, so we are seeing that things will start unlocking, and when there is cash flow, in the country, that money is felt everywhere, across board.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to point you out to what was actually brought to the light again by the president the other day when he was talking about what his approach in the affordable housing pillar is going to be. There are a couple of tax incentives, by the way, that were made available to any developer within the affordable housing pillar. Talking about value-added tax exemption on goods imported or developed locally for the direct and exclusive use in the construction of affordable units, reduced rates of import declaration fee on goods imported into the country under the affordable housing scheme, that is at a rate of 1.5%, reduced rate of railway development levy on goods imported into the country under the affordable housing scheme, reduced corporate tax of 15% for affordable housing developers. There is also affordable housing scheme that is no longer exempt from thin capitalization provisions. If you look at that, Mr. Maru, when you look at those incentives, is that enough to pull more developers into this particular area? Going by how some of the raw materials, by the way, now when we're talking about the cost of production now, that's what we're talking about, that it's what has been pushing majority of the cost of these units to go higher. Yes, is this enough when you look at these exemptions?
Yeah, thank you very much. You will find that for any law that has been passed, it's only useful when it's being implemented. So you find that what we need for the for the private developer to be able to thrive, having now speaking as one of the players, is that the conducive environment for private developers is what needs to be checked. Because you find that since time immemorial, there have been very beautiful laws that are trying to help the end users. And at the end of the day, the person that here we should be focusing on is not even the developer.
Yes.
As much as, yes, there's that issue of the developer, but we should be looking at the end user.
Does it?
Because we are looking at the goal. And as I previously had mentioned about the KMRC rate, you find that it's a very good idea, and you had said it's a silver lining, but if not used, if not properly implemented, it becomes another bill that is just gathering dust. You find that in the parliament sometimes back there was the motion about first-time homeowners, and you find that bill at the end of the day never saw the light of day. It was debated, but somehow it was shelved. Now this is the time to start engaging very clearly, because we can have those good policies that are trying. You find that in our country, this is a capital country, whereby people are more focused with capital gains rather than impact. But we need to have the impact felt. Yes, it's good. That is a basis. That is a basic, because our country is led by the rule of law. So that is the first step. To start setting clear laws and the policies, which we should be followed by everybody. It's a good start.
Yes. I want us to go for a tiny breather. Once we come back, there are a couple of developing issues by there that have also come up under this affordable housing pillar, where the government adjusted their rents upwards in the affordable housing units that majority of Kenyans have run to. We want to talk about how that is going to impact the adoption of this particular conversation, pillar. And once we come, also we'll be looking at exactly what you're doing at Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, where you fit in this conversation, and some of the products then that you have that are essentially a mirror of this conversation for affordable housing. Once we come back right here on the Morning Drift, my name is Simba Elijah Charles.
Flamingo Towers. Flamingo Towers is an elegantly designed executive office complex. The building splits seamlessly into 2 wings, retaining 12 levels of grade A commercial space with flexible interior arrangements and 6 floors of parking accessed by car elevators. Located along Mara Road in Nairobi's Upper Hill area, Flamingo Towers boasts of panoramic scenic views from every office, 24-hour CCTV surveillance systems, fiber optic broadband connectivity, 2 high-speed elevators, MVA power supply with standby generator, and many more modern facilities. The building and its naming rights are up for sale. For more information, contact us on 0727 287 994 or visit our website on www.flamingotowers.com. Flamingo Towers, a product of Fusion Capital. Fusion Capital, rooted in the African growth story.
Introducing the Kenya Trade Fair Fusion Sales Drive event in the heart of Nairobi at the Kenya National Archives. It's not just an event, it's sales generation with a remarkable return on investment. Get ready to let your booth do the talking as you study new market trends with lots of entertainment featuring traditional live bands, DJs, and artists. For vendor registration, call 0724 715 334 or 0713 907 584 or 0723 861 173.
Are you an SME looking for a media partner? Look no more, as Lookuptv got you covered for all your visibility and marketing needs. We at Lookuptv understand your business needs and want to work with you on your marketing journey, giving you solutions that will take you to the next level. Call us today on 0707 572 358 or send an email to sales@lookuptv.co.ke and kickstart this amazing journey. Welcome to Lookup TV, your official SME media partner.
Welcome back to the Morning Drift. We are with the CEO, Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, looking into this particular pillar for the affordable housing, an area where the government is essentially putting a lot of stress on, with a promise to deliver 250,000 housing units each year until the last year of their tenure. Good. We're looking at it, essentially questioning where the benefits are, the good and the bad, and where the strengths and weaknesses are. This morning, you can also log into the conversation at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Simba. Now, George, I want to point you out to what the government did the other day. I think was due to just how the inflation environment has been, and also the cost of living in the country has been. They did adjust the rent payable to the affordable housing units upwards. Do you think that was a well-informed move? Is it something that is happening across the real estate sector, or is just the government essentially realizing that they also need to ask for more if they're going to use this money to also construct more units?
Yeah, thank you very much. You'll find that with inflation, in economics, we normally say that shilling of today is not the same as a shilling of yesterday.
Does it?
That is why it's always prudent and it's always recommended that you'd rather have you save in something that is immovable property. You'll find that our Kenyan market, in terms of the movable asset, which is land, has not been well distributed. And this is because you find that, for example, you look at where there are bypasses that are passing by, yeah? You'll find that the cost of land there is like 3 or 4 times, actually even 10 times, the cost of land that is only a kilometer, yes. Yeah, only a kilometer away.
Yes.
Why? Because there is no road passing by. So you find that our land, and this is also something that the government, I think, should be looking at, or is looking at, the fact that land in Kenya is not, you can't put a proper price to it. Like we as Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, because we have traversed the counties. We started with Kiambu County, where we have a number of our projects. We have a number of projects there in Kenyatta Road. We have in Juja, we have one in Kangundo Road, which is in Machakos, and we have ventured into Kwale County, which also is a very attractive place, because these most people, when they are visiting Kenya, you'll hear them saying Diani. We visited Diani. Everybody talks about Diani. But you go there and you find the cost of land in Diani, and you compare it to the price in Kiambu. They are just like worlds apart. Why? You find that there is no that fair distribution of our land is not truly well appreciated. And this is because we as a country, we are an independent country, but you find that the laws that were applied during the colonial times are still applying. And you find that even since we got independence, there is a very few change that we have managed to enjoy. That's it. This is because when the people, especially let's say the politicians, are elected into posts, they concentrate on where they have their own personal interests at the expense of the vast majority. So this is high time, first of all, we actually regulate the cost of our land, and this should not be based on market is good to be given that liberty, but also the government needs to come up with some proper measures, because this inflation is something that is not sustainable. Our country, like right now, we have to keep on adjusting the way we live based on inflation. And you find that inflation, if I can tell you for a fact, inflation is purely based on the politics of all over the globe, and maybe something like peace. And peace also, also peace is something relative, because peace, as we know it currently, is not what we mean by peace. You find that when we are talking of peace, it's not like right now in Kenya we are enjoying peace, and this is because we had a very good electioneering period, and the people at least now they are starting to accept the fact that we are out of the election period. Now we need to start working. But you find most news affect even the currencies, the value of the currencies. So it's high time we start standardizing our issues and ensure that land has its own proper value.
That's pretty much. Let's now speak about Mizizi Africa Homes Limited then, in respect to this conversation for affordable housing. And you know, it's an interesting that you're saying that every time you talk to somebody about affordable housing, they're just thinking about their houses, and without even thinking about the basic element of it. It's got to be about that land. Let's begin from there. Do you think that land has been factored in this cost for affordable housing, or we're just thinking about the structures themselves before we're thinking about this land? And from your end, how have you been able to approach this particular issue for land in respect to having affordable housing units?
Thank you very much. We as Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, one thing we believe in is continuous improvement. We believe in continuously bettering our yesterday. And from our perspective, because we started off in Kiambu Road, now we have Kenyatta Road, now we have moved to other areas. We actually have a lot of experience, more than we did back then. When we were initially starting, what we used to concentrate on was just getting a house that is affordable. We were looking at having units that are easily together to maximize on the land, because the cost of land was quite high. And with time, we have noted that it's also important we continuously improve even on our processes. One, you find that the cost of land is the most important thing. And this is because even if you are putting on a story building of 20 or more floors, it is sitting on land. So the basic of things is land. And we are happy because the previous government in the Ministry of Lands, there were some reforms that were in place to try and digitalize our land, which is a very good thing, because this will also eliminate the issue of corruption when it comes to land. You find that land itself in Kenya, because of the cartels, has been one of the most emotive issues. And even as we speak, in our country, recently we saw there were demolitions in Portland. We saw there was a court ruling that people that were residing in Njiro be vacated. Land has always been an emotive issue in our country and actually all over the globe. So it is high time we put our house in order, and let us not scare away investors. Let us put our house in order. The best place to start is ensuring that we have, one, our land well documented, well valued. Then from there, we can now start inviting the investors. Because for sure, this can't only be done by the local investors. We as Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, we have done a good number of units, and even added more capacity. We can do more, but still we need the investors. But if we allow the investors to come and invest as things are, we're actually going to sell out our country. And this is because you find that people right now, they sell land based on their needs. You find that somebody is sitting on a beach plot, very prime. But because they are hungry, they need money just to eat, you find that they sell that at a throwaway price. What happens? The broker comes, gets whatever they need, then you find a skyscraper. You sold your house at let's say 2 million for a let's say 5 million for an acre.
Yes.
Somebody comes, puts a building worth billions. So you are left there just wondering what happened. So the point of the matter is that we need to address, as much as we are talking about affordable housing,
yes,
we need to address seriously the issue of land, and the issue of digitalization and the land reforms that we had started previously. These are also things that we need to revisit.
Yes.
Then from there we also now start talking about the construction itself.
That's it. Yeah. Pretty much. Let's talk about your approach to helping your clients get property, because even in this affordable housing, there's something that somebody said. Well, there's a culture for us Kenyans. We want to buy the property in the place that we want, in a controlled area. Then after that, pay for this property. Once I'm done paying for this property, then I can also now start constructing my house.
Sure.
And they say that that's the true culture of a middle-class Kenyan who wants to own property in this country. Do you fit in that story, in the properties that you're offering to majority of Kenyans? Is that story there, where somebody can approach you today, George, and say, I want to buy land with you, good. After I'm done paying, I also want you guys to sort of help me construct this house that I want to live in. Is that format there at Mizizi Homes?
Yeah. Thank you very much. We in Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, we are known for affordable housing, and we have houses that we are continuing to do the construction. And these houses, for us Mizizi, we invite the customers, and this is because when you are talking about affordable housing, you need to get everybody involved. Because at the end of the day, everybody who needs a home, especially I'm talking about people who need a home. When you're looking at housing, you have to look at it from two perspectives. One perspective is whereby people need homes, somewhere they can live. And you find that those are the most people that are very vulnerable. First-time homeowners, somebody who needs to have their family under a roof and they're not paying rent. You'll find that a majority of men, they are full of stress, and this is because of purely rent. You find that rent is eating into people's small budget. So if we can be able to help people who want homes for their first time, either they are young couples, people that are not married, which are, you find that especially men, from our statistics, young men rarely buy houses. It's young families or single ladies. These are people who are looking at the interest of their children. So the goal here is to look at the interest of the children who are the future of our country, without having to look at it more of business. So if you're looking at affordable housing, you have to look at the need, that is for housing people that need this basic need as a house, basic. Then there's the aspect of investment, whereby you have a home which you can which is your second home, which you can either put as a rental, getting a rental income, which is also something we do in Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, or you resell that house after construction, upon construction, you sell it and you make your gain, and that's where the issue of capital gain comes in. You're able now to make profit. You're able to make a profit out of that investment. And for us, we normally encourage somebody, before you even think of an investment, think of that home whereby you are not paying rent, because it gives you also ample time to be able to, you are flexible. Somebody who is not paying rent and somebody who is paying rent, I can tell you from a point of experience, they are not two people.
They're completely different people, isn't it? Yes.
Somebody who is not paying rent, at the end of the month, you don't hear a knock. Your mind is settled. You're able to focus with doing bigger things. Yeah, so we need to start by those that are very disadvantaged.
Yes.
Those who need a home as a basic need.
Yes.
There's somebody who needs, and you find that especially with our middle class, they have several homes. And that is not somebody who is struggling. So for me, my focus is on somebody who is at their lowest, those people that are starting off. Then we also engage those that are want to reinvest, and we encourage, because once you have your first one, we want you to have your second one, the third one, and so on and so forth.
That is indeed true. Isn't it? Right now, what properties are in the market from Mizizi Africa Homes,
Sure.
that you can look and say, well, for any other person who's thinking about fitting into this affordable housing conversation, I've got the answer for you. Which ones are those?
Yeah, thank you very much. At the moment, we have very affordable houses that are located in Kenyatta Road, and actually the construction has started, very well ongoing, and we are selling them at only 5.8 million. That is, you come at only 5.8 to get your 3-bedroom house. And a 3-bedroom house, the way you look at it, it's a family house. You are able to have your master bedroom, you have your children's, maybe male on one side, female on the other, and you can arrange maybe how your house help will sleep. So we are looking at a family that is a starting family, but you also have another one that caters for the middle families. That's a 5-bedroom. You also have 5 bedrooms. This is whereby you have a master bedroom and 4 other bedrooms, and there you have also a study area, which means you can actually work from home. And everything now is going digital. People are able to work from home, and that's a 5-bedroom. That one we are also giving at only 7.5. If you look at the market rates, that is one of the most affordable you can ever get. Yes. And you can have it either as your home or as an investment. If you feel that it is not within your area, you can have it as an investment. You use that rental income, or you can put it in the Airbnb and you pay your own rent. So we are not discouraging people buying because maybe they are residing from different areas. You can have it, let's say in Kenyatta Road, we have Kenyatta Road, we have Juja, we have Kangundo Road, we have in Kwale County, whereby we are doing affordable holiday homes. You can have that asset. That asset, either you are living or it is generating you an income, and use that income to cater for your expenses where you are residing. And at the moment, because our country is opening up, because you have seen our country is now being considered to be one of the most havens of peace. People are coming in Kenya. We have seen recently we had King Charles visiting our country. It means our country is being recognized as somewhere people can travel. So you can be assured very soon there will be an influx of tourists. These people need somewhere they can sleep. And Airbnb now is a global phenomenon. People will be looking for Airbnb. So buy your house, furnish it, you start earning your money at ease. And now we have even digital locks. You're able to lock your house. You're able to monitor your house from all over. So we as Kenyans, we have also a great opportunity. It is said with every problem there's a solution. So with these economic hard times, if somebody is very keen and they grab the opportunity, very soon they will be laughing all the way and wondering why are people complaining.
That's it. Pretty much. So let's talk about the journey that somebody wants to own a property at Mizizi Homes Africa. And I'm talking about this person who's listening to today and saying that I want to invest with Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, buy that property, help get the construction, and then move in. How is that journey like? Could you talk to us? What are the periods that are acceptable within Mizizi Homes Africa, where you're saying you got this period to get this property, and you got this period that can help you then construct this house?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. For us as Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, right now we have gotten into a concept which we are calling Buy We Build. This concept, which is actually our idea, because we have continued to improve on our processes, we want to give people first of all the titles, because the title is a sign of ownership. And we are selling actually very affordable plots. We have started with Diani. We are giving plots at only 1.5 million for a 50 by 100.
50 by 100, yes.
50 by 100,
yes.
And you don't have to pay cash.
Yes.
We are very flexible and we are very understanding when it comes to the payments. You either pay upfront, that is cash, or you pay within a period of 3 months.
Yes.
You acquire your title 100%, you pay 50%, balance in 3 months, then we start doing your construction. Because we are also contractors, we construct for you as per your need. But also we also look at, because at the end of the day we want to have gated estates, we do not want to encourage this one to do this, so we'll have a range. We have a range of concepts that we are selling. If you want to do this 5-bedroom, 3-bedroom, then we will also be with time having commercial areas and so on and so forth. But at the moment, we also have houses that we had started with the off-plan concept, the way it was previously, whereby we used to invite customers. They come, we have the title, mother title, we construct together. By the time we are done constructing, we give them the house and the keys to their house and the titles. And still we have those houses. I had mentioned about the ones we have,
yes,
for very affordable prices.
Yes.
And it's very easy to reach to us because nowadays we have our social medias, we have our website. If you visit www.miziziafricahomes.com, you'll be able to engage with us there. You'll find our contacts. It's very easy actually to get a house with us, Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, especially with our digital world. You go to any social media platform, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, you find us, Mizizi Africa Homes, you'll find us there. And also, if it's okay, I can give you the contact.
Does it?
Yeah, you can also reach to us via calling us through the phone 020-790-2215. That is 020-790-2215, or you can also WhatsApp us on 0742-112215. That is 0742-112215. You can also send us an email on info@miziziafricahomes.com, and we'll be able to take you through all the process.
Just as we clear this conversation, this is the last thing that I want you to sort of paint for us under this conversation for affordable housing. George, do you foresee a time when the country will be saying that we now have a hold of the housing deficit in this country, and the conversation of decent, affordable housing is within the private sector and the government? Which one needs to take first? Is it you, the private sector, or the government needs to sort of take first before we say that we have a success in this, this agenda? 1 minute.
Thank you very much. I'll bring it to your attention, and you can do your research. All over the world, affordable housing is a major debate. All over the globe. And this is because if you go to America, rent there is very high. If you go to any other country, you find that rent is very high. It's only that in our country, there's not much cash flow, but in other places, rent is so high you can't imagine. So it is high time we learn from the other people's mistakes, because other people, the mistake of which it's not by default, it's not their accident, it's by design. The way the governments have been structured is that they don't cater really for the common mwananchi interest. They look more onto their side, people just being taxed and them controlling whatever they want. But now we have a chance as Kenyans. Our land is very prime. We have not really sold our land. So we just need to do very few things, and other people will actually start emulating our model.
Does it?
Yeah.
Pretty much. All right, the conversation with our CEO, Mizizi Africa Homes Limited, is telling you that it's possible for you to be an investor, property owner under this affordable housing agenda, and all the way to speaking about where the government has been, especially when it comes to making this a reality across the country. That's exactly what we had for you this morning. Guess what? Tomorrow is a good time then for us to do this all over again. My name is Simba. Elijah Charles Kiagi. Goodbye. And thank you very much for coming by, Mr. Mburu. Always a pleasure to have you around.